Okay, hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Live here, back today with quite well, I don't know if I should call it interesting video, but a video nonetheless. Are you cranked all the way? Like one fucking bulb I have control over here? Yes. Because that one refuses to connect to the smart hub. We are back and we are about to head out and fire up the barbecue. You guys are probably standing here asking me just like, excuse me mate, what time is it? You're gonna fire up the barbecue? Well, hello, spider. Yes, I'm gonna fire up the barbecue. Why am I gonna fire up the barbecue? Well, because I am hungry and everything I have is barbecue food. And right now it's kind of cool outside. And really the perfect time to be barbecuing. Now I didn't clean in the bottom of this shit, so that shit's kind of nasty, but I did clean the main pan because that one was really nasty, worse than that. So the main pan is cleaned, so we're gonna head down and have some stuff in it. I say. Some coal in it. So I cleaned it. I didn't clean here, but I cleaned in here. So yeah. So yes, so this is gonna be like 1:30 a.m. barbecue. Why am I barbecuing this late, you may ask? Besides from me wanting food. Because normally I would not be barbecuing at this time, either because my neighbors are home or because my mom is trying to sleep. But today the neighbors aren't home, my mom's on night watch. So I was just like, you know what? Fitting time to do some barbecue. We need to buy some more and then I believe I maybe have 2 matchsticks left. So I'm gonna have to buy more coal. Oh yes. I didn't bring my phone though. You stupid! You don't think far enough. Huh, what's the clock? 1:30 a.m. You guys are probably asking me, why the hell are you barbecuing at motherfucking 1:30 a.m? Cause I'm hungry. The only thing I have is barbecue food. And the neighbors aren't home. My mom's at night watch. So I was just like, oh well, I'll fire up the barbecue. I newly cleaned this pan. So I'm just gonna let her soak for a hot while. And then we're gonna fire it on. So yeah, there's gonna be barbecue. Okay. So then we can export you. And then I can hide you. Potentially hide something else maybe? Or I already hid that. Yes, I already hid that, okay. Move to my eyes only. Well, you can move to eyes only as well. Oh well. So this shite is what we're gonna be putting on here, and the date on you were 11th and 7th, and today it's the 14th and 7th, so technically speaking this is out on date, but it's best before, so it should still be fine, I would say. Why is this one in here? I washed this, well, I thought I did. Oh well, it's been the same thing that's been in it, so it's fine. Not the correct thing, but here we are. This will be fine. Oh god. I'm trying to not get all the sauce. Well, it doesn't smell too bad, so I think we'll be fine. Then that goes into plastic. Then we kind of just put this all over it. And well, if my stomach takes a trip to hell and back, oh well. Here we are. But I think we should be fine. I think. I've usually never had a problem with these being a little bit out of date. I mean, she's been laying cold, so not freezed, but cold enough to where I'm satisfied. So there you are. And she's 35. So I'll be back with you guys when she's like 50. Bro, I thought I forgot. I didn't turn her off that way. Bro, nothing has been washed here, gosh darn it. I swear I can go and fire up her first, I guess. Oh, so we are back. And we are going to fire the grill up, and I'm, to be honest, even though it's in the middle of the night, I swear I'm a little unsure if I need this jacket on. to be completely honest with you. It's 14 degrees out here, so it's not like the warmest, but it's not the coldest either. And I can definitely feel that it's not the coldest, we could say. Now are these vents open? Yes. Well, light a big fire at night, ain't that what they say? And yes, I know I'm using gosh darn a lighter to fire on gosh darn matchsticks, but thank you. Oh, I feel my foot is dead, as well as this side of my hip, because in my mom's car on the driver's side, the right side of the seat is down, so it's kind of at an angle, so it's kind of pain in the butt to drive in. And the car does not have cruise control, so I gotta sit there constantly on the gas. Like in the Volvo, for example, I have cruise control, so if I'm driving and it is 80, I can just set my cruise control, let my foot off the gas and fully concentrate about the road, instead of having to sit there and constantly look down at my speedometer looking at my speed. So we really need to get a table down here. And really, I need to talk to my mom. We need to do something in between here, spray this off so it doesn't grow up again. But the one thing we also need to do is that I need to get her to take a spade and something and take one day and dig out this entire house, and then try and level the dirt here and get those stones laying properly again. Well, I'm sleeping in my grave. Now the one thing that's been kind of bugging me, is this chainsaw. I've been trying to figure out a way to get this clutch or saw brake off, because these clamp against this one to stop this one from turning, and then other than that it spins freely. I've been trying to get this one off because for some reason we're not getting fuel from the fuel tank in the handle, so this cable into the carburetor. Because if you saw my earlier video or heard my earlier video, when I took some VD40 down in there, put the plug back in and tried to pull her, she fired. Which means the plug's working, the ignition system is working, but the plug is not working. Now the thing that's kind of a pain in the butt as well, I also have the lawnmower here, but I think I'm just gonna try and just throw together this thing. I don't really think we're gonna make done the Brinks and Stratton rebuild project, because apparently that was a lawnmower my aunt was supposed to have. She didn't say that earlier, so I think depending on what my mom says, I'm just kind of gonna throw her together and then just kind of say bye. If you're gonna have it, then you find out what the problem with it is. If it is a problem with it and you ain't gonna have it, well then it goes out of here, because well, I could try and rebuild her, but on the thought of how those piston rings look and how this bottom ring is, I believe this bottom ring, technically speaking, should be hooked in together with these two other rings, technically speaking, as one single ring, technically speaking. So I mean, I could try and put her together, but I don't think there's really a point, to be completely honest with you. You know what? let's bring down the radio. So I really would want to get those 2 projects done. And you know, here is the thing. It's gonna be a heck hole and a half when I'm back in Trondheim, I tell you what. I'm probably gonna be staying up here until the end, close to the end of July, most likely, because my girlfriend is coming up here. Or not up here, but she's coming to Trondheim the 7th of August. The 12th of August, we're gonna start rigging for Turicon, which means 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, which means I technically have 3 to 4 days with her before we go to the hotel to start rigging for Turicon and doing Turicon. And then I believe she said Monday and Tuesday at my place, and then Wednesday we take the plane down to Stavanger together. So then I'm coming with her down to Stavanger to be in her new apartment and kind of fix around with some stuff and computers and whatnot. And then, well, God knows how long I'll stay down in there. And before all that happens, I have a few projects at home that needs to be done, like the new SAS cable and the server. So I need a new fridge. So that's the thing we gotta take care of. Compressor went to hell, so that needs to be taken care of. What more? Then I got a few unboxings of some Utaku boxes, and then my 2 last unboxings, or 2 or 3 last unboxings of the Japan crate, because I cancelled my subscription there because I kind of need to save some money in certain places. And that's also when it comes about, I talked about in the last episode about the car, why I want to take over the Volvo S80, my grandfather's car, technically speaking, but it's now been moved over to my grandmother. Because if I can get that car for free, quote unquote, besides from the re-registering to me, that means I'm saving about 25 grand. Granted, the car has gone about 330,000 kilometers, but I know the history of the car, I know what work has been done to it, and I know what work needs to be done to it. So I know the history of the car, which means I'm going to really talk with Bob, and by any luck we can either get that car shipped down, or one day we can drive the car down. And well, it's probably going to be a combination of me and my mom driving, or it's going to end up with me having to ask my uncle to drive with me, because he's a little more used to be driving on those kind of types of road. The same as I'm not used to driving on them, but I'm used to like being on them when I'm in the car together with somebody else, like Oscar, for example. So me and him is more used to the roads down there than what she is. So probably if we're gonna drive the car down, it's probably gonna be me and my uncle that's driving the car down, most likely. Because I don't know how keen my mom would be on that. My plan was to have my mom, if she's got enough well, what shall you call it? I don't know what the word I'm calling. You get what I mean. Enough oomph to drive down to Trondheim. Then my plan was to have her, so like say towards the end of July now, we in the morning, not too early, but say around 10, maybe 12, maybe about in the middle of the day. Of course, we're going to my grandmother first, eating a little bit, saying goodbye, whatnot, and then start driving. Then a quick stop in Fauske, and then after that we're driving back through Rognan, and then just setting the road, or we're not stopping by Rognan, but then we're setting the road right through Røkland and all the way downwards towards Mo i Rana and downwards towards Trondheim. And then we'll be driving for, it takes about 9 hours to drive down, roughly. So probably what we'll do is drive, so if we start at say 12, for example, start driving 12, then say we stop about halfway and get some food. So theoretically speaking, we can drive down to Trondheim in one day, technically speaking, if the traffic ain't too bad. Which means theoretically speaking, we should be able to make it down to Trondheim in a day. If we start driving at 12, then we'll be in Trondheim, say including coffee breaks, pee breaks, food breaks, whatnot. We'll probably be in Trondheim at about 11, 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. maybe 12 a.m. so we'll be arriving there late, so traffic is gonna be very quiet in town, and it's just gonna be driving straight up to me, parking the car there, and well, it's probably gonna end up with my mom sleeping on my couch or something whatnot, so she'll probably be sleeping to me, because to be honest, at that point it's not a point in ordering a hotel for one night. So then she might as well either take my bed and I take the couch, or she takes the couch, I take the bed, and then she orders a train ticket or a plane ticket next day back home, and then well, my aunt is gonna be the one having to pick her up then. We're doing this shite again. So yeah, so that's kind of my plan, because here is the thing, and here's the thing my mom has kind of not thought about either. Granted, she was kind of like, then we can look into something, so what she was probably referring to was that they could maybe pay up and take out the loan for me to get a car, so we could pay on it together. But here is the thing, I pretty much want Volvo. Like, it's either gonna be a Volvo or it's gonna be a Chevrolet, like the fucking Camaro or something. That's like, either we go Volvo, classic, throw some Itasha shit on it, upgrade some stuff in it, call it a day, or we're going fucking Chevrolet, Camaro, Itasha the hell out of it, and here we go. And anywho, and for Volvos you're gonna have to pay quite a bit, granted used market, but I'd rather take the Volvo S80 for free, pay, what will it be, like 2 grand, 1,777 I believe it was, for a Persian car below what was it, 3.5 tons, or 2.5 tons, below 2.5 tons, and then just have us drive it down there. Now we can re-register the car on me. I can still drive the car, but the big question is how we're doing it, because we're gonna have to re-register it here, because my mom or my grandmother has to physically be with me to get it re-registered, because we need to go to the workshop to get it re-registered on me. Probably not with my mom be with me. Anywho, and then I need to drive down, and if it's possible I can own the car, but my grandmother still has the insurance on the car, so her insurance will still be valid until I'm down in Trondheim. Because here is the thing, if that's possible, because you know I am going to be driving that car down in Trondheim, besides from if I potentially get somebody that likes to practice drive with me a lot, like for example when I start taking actual driving lessons and start actually doing the whole process of driving up, and if the car can get approved, I can actually take my driver's license with that car. Granted, it's an automatic, so I'm going to get a code on my license which only allows me to drive automatic cars, besides from practice driving, of course, then I can drive manual. But really driving up to manual later on is not that expensive anyways, so yeah, so really there's no point in me having insurance on the car unless I'm actually out driving it, because I ain't required to have insurance on my car if it's standing still. It's only if I'm driving that I am required, and it is a good thing to have insurance in case shit happens, either it be me that caused it or somebody else that caused it, one out of two. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're standing, because the reason is, what I was trying to get at here is that, like you know now, I also have started on BSU account, a apartment or a housing savings for young people now. And the thing is that my mom, I don't think has really thought about that much, is that if she thinks a little bit, if I get the Volvo, and I don't have to pay anything for it besides from like 2 grand in re-registration, Norwegian krone. That means those other 23 grand, or well 30-35 depending on the mileage, grand Norwegian krone can go in on my BSU account and go towards my housing savings instead of me having to use it on the car. Because that means I can have that car, I can drive that car for a few years, and then at one point when my economy is more stable and I maybe potentially have gotten a job or my disability benefits have gone up, then I can potentially take out a car loan, sell my old car, aka the Volvo, or scrapyard, probably get about 10, maybe 15 grand for it, and then take out a loan, a car loan, and then buy myself a nearly new car. But here is also the thing, I don't want a nearly new car either. I want to lay between like 2007. Technically I do want to go 2004, 2005, but we can say 2007 to 2014, maybe 2016. I don't want anything much newer than that, because those are easier to work on and you can change out much more about them than what you can on, like, say, a 2019 or a 2020 model. So personally I want a bit of an older car, and rather do some work to it than get a quote-unquote brand new car and can't do shit to it, if you get where I'm going. Well, that blood be babbling, boy. So yeah, so that's kind of what I'm getting at here. I would rather save like a 35-40 grand and use that on there. And granted, she said, but I don't want her to sit here with a 40 grand car loan just because of me either. So theoretically speaking, if she thinks it's far enough, me getting that car is really a benefit for everyone here pretty much, because my grandmother, she barely drives, and if she's gonna drive, she don't want that car, wide of a car. My mom has a car, my aunt has a car, and she pays enough from before. Like, granted, she has work, she gets maybe a little bit more money than me, like for like vacation money and stuff. But there again, she doesn't get much more than me, because of privacy reasons. I'm not gonna say what she earns, but I mean, you see me, I'm honest about this stuff. Like, I get, after taxes, I get about 22 grand Norwegian. My mom is probably a bit above that, but really, she's not that far above me. And there again, granted, she has a cheaper house rent, but there she's also paying for power and all of that jazz. So, and all of that, water, blah 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 blah, I got everything included. Granted, my house rent is 10 grand, but she doesn't have that much money either, so I don't want her to have, but she also having to sponsor my fridge. And I'm kind of in a sticky dilemma too, because I'm probably gonna need some extra money there again, because what has happened here is that it was one single month that I thought my house rent was paid, but it was not paid. So technically speaking, I've been paying my house rent every time I got a, you know, a overdue notice on it, which happened, well, the next month, about the date where I was actually gonna pay my actual house rent, which means theoretically speaking, my apartment rent has been paid for last month, but it's not been paid for this month. And I can see that it has... Better doing the rest of this recording on my work phone because my GoPro died. Well, my GoPro was already quote-unquote dead, but my power bank also finally died. So yeah. So technically speaking, I have another 10 grand I technically speaking have to go out with to get that back on track, which my mom is also gonna have to help me with. potentially my grandmother. Plus I need a new fridge, which means technically speaking I already have, quote unquote, this month technically need to borrow 15 grand of them. Because I found a fridge to club price for about 5 on Elkjøp. So theoretically speaking, I already need them to borrow 15 grand from them this month, technically speaking. So I really don't want them to give me 15 grand and then have to pay a car loan on top of that again. And here is the thing. Their argument kind of is that when I actually have a license, then we can start looking at things. But here is the thing. I want to have a car before I get my license, so I can do all the prep to the car. Stereo, cleaning it up, engine work, swapping filters, swapping oil. I want to have the car before I get my license, so when I get my license, I have a car that's ready to go, I can start driving. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here, and I'm gotten bitten in my ankle, motherfucker. So yes, that's kind of what I'm trying to... So that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here, you know. People may feel that I'm stressing about getting a car, but really, I'm just trying to be prepared, to be completely honest with you. And if I can get the car approved to actually take my license with it, then it's even better. Because then I have practice drive with the car, I know how the car handles, aka I'm going to be used to the car when I take my driver's license, which means I can pretty much drive the car like I've always driven the car, quote unquote. Just a little bit nicer because driving test, blah 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 blah. All that jazz. So that's why I kind of want the car. So I'll probably show my mom, my grandmother something, probably this video tomorrow or another day or whatnot. I'm at least gonna have my mom watch it. I would take it up with her directly, but to be honest, I think it's better that I just show her a video where I'm expressing all of this, because sometimes I feel like it's easier to just stand here and talk to the camera when I have my stuff straight in my head and start talking to my mom, and then things are not straight in my head, and then everything just kind of goes around and around and around. But as said, if that happens and that I get the car, which I really hope I do, because I like the car, I like how it handles. I don't want them to have to take up a 50 grand loan just because I want to have a car, and I want to have a car before I get my license so I can do all the prep to it. But if that happens and it's going to be driven down, like actually driven down to Trondheim, we're going to have to do the re-registering here on Fauske, and well, either if my mom has enough oomph, quote unquote, I still can't remember what the fuck the word is in English. It's fucking 3 a.m. soon. Anywho, she and me will drive down to Trondheim. Or if the worst comes to the worst, I guess I'll just have to ask my uncle and figure out when he is available and has the time, and then me and him will drive down to Trondheim, because he is a little bit more used down on those roads than what my mom is. So most likely gonna be me and him, most likely. Or maybe my mom comes with on the trip, because why not? I don't know, we'll see. Point is, I really hope they'll allow me to keep the car. Because really, if I can keep the car, it would mean the world to me. Both because, well, then I have a car, I don't have to pay for the car. Besides from re-register, which probably my grandmother is going to pay anyways if that happens, knowing her correctly. Well, potentially fuel on the way down. That's like what I have to pay, quote unquote. And that's practically it. The rest of the money I have can go into actual savings, and my mom doesn't have to pay more money than what she has to. It's like when we granted the car has gone like 50,000 kilometers, but I like the car, I like how it handles, I know the history of the car, and it's kind of a little bit of a, what shall I say, a memory for me, since it was my grandfather's car, and he has had that car for well, I don't know how many years, at least like 7 or 10 years at this point. Yes, because they still had that car when I still lived home. So yes, we have had that car for like 10 years. So I know the history of it in and out and all that. And you piece of motherfucking mosquito, I'm trying to record and make food here. You piece of fuck. So yeah, knows the history of the car and all that, so I hope they realize that me getting that car is pretty much just doing us all in favor, and why spend the money on a newer car when anyways I want an older car because of the reasons I just mentioned, and that we have a car that drives great. Granted, there is some paint problems with it, but that's nothing that I can't fix. I can take and sand the car down, put automotive spackle on it, sand it down, prime it, paint it, all in my own yard, quote unquote, or on the parking lot, whatever. Just that I'll need to buy a pop-up cover or something, because obvious reasons, and then just paint it there, or borrow a garage because Oscar knows somebody that has a garage, so I can borrow a garage of them and then drive it in there and paint it there. So technically speaking, everything of that I can do there, and besides I'll probably throw some Intarsia wraps or stuff on the car anyways. So anywho, we'll see what happens. Anywho, I'm gonna leave you guys here. I'm gonna finish up that one and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Okay, I've decided I'm doing these on the gosh darn pan because the barbecue got so cold that, well, here we are, quote unquote. All of that I could probably. Call these done soon maybe. Alright. I'm just gonna end off the video here. I think we've had enough both barbecue talk and car talk and everything. My point is really, my point with this video, besides from, well, trying a barbecue, but that clearly didn't go as planned, was the reason why I'm so eager to get SAD, the car and stuff, and all of that jazz. So yeah, I just want to emphasize this again, that I want to have the car before I have the license. I can do all the prep I want to do to the car before I actually get my license. I want to have that car because I know the history of that car. So I know what work's been done to it, I know what needs to be done with it, all of that jazz. Second of all, I only have to pay 2 grand in re-register and then insurance when that time's come. So my mom doesn't have to sit there with a 50-60 grand car loan just because I'm gonna have a car and all that jazz. So I'm gonna leave it on that note. I want to say thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, a like would be greatly appreciated, and as always, check out links down below for my socials and all that. And until further notice, stay tuned and stay awesome, and make a live out.